millions of homeowners be forced to sell their homes? Okay, so I saw this video title, and of course I took the bait. And I too am a little guilty of writing dramatic titles. You know, this is YouTube.
Property insurance and taxes are going to choke out millions of property owners.
Okay, so what is this guy actually talking about?
It's looking like something interesting is happening that the media is not talking about. And I think we all need to pay very close attention to this because I believe we're going to see something unreal unfold. I think it's actually already started. Did you know in November, during Thanksgiving, walking into Christmas, there was more homes actively listed for sale in America than at any point in the last 3 years? Look at this. Look at this data. This is November of 2023, 754,000 active homes. Dating all the way back, there was never a period with more home inventory until September of 2020. Even then, it still wasn't. August of 2020 was the highest point since then.
I did watch the video, and I decided to do a little fact checking. So let's dive in. Okay, so the first thing he brings up is inventory. So he says this past November, we had more active listings in the United States of America than we've had in the past 3 years. Okay. So what does that actually mean in the grand scheme of things? Let's take a closer look. So okay, in November of 2023, inventory was up to about 754,000 homes. And the previous year, it was only 749,000 homes. So we're only talking about 5,100 homes more. That ain't a big deal. I think he's being a little dramatic, but let's keep digging in. So in November of 2021, 2 years prior, we had 511,000 homes listed for sale. So inventory was quite low, like historically low. I personally had to try to duke it out with numerous listing agents trying to win the bid. It was a selling frenzy. Bidding wars, lots of fun. November 2020, that was in the height of the pandemic, and we had 683,000 homes listed for sale. And that is low. So we had low inventory in 2020 as well. Don't believe me? Let's look back before all the lockdowns took place in 2019. In November of 2019, we had 1.1 million listings on the market. So my friends, in the grand scheme of things, having 754,000 homes on the market in November of 2023 ain't no big thing. It's a big nothing burger. Next up, he says that literally that 40% of all mortgages were originated between 2020 and 2021.
So 40% of all mortgages in America were taken out at the height of the market, 2020, 2021. Record low interest rates, right?
I find that really hard to believe. So I did a little digging. In 2020, we had an outstanding mortgage debt of $16.79 trillion. The following year, we had $18.06 trillion. So the gain between those 2 years was $1.27 trillion. And if I do my math right, $1.27 trillion is not 40% of the total outstanding mortgage debt. As a matter of fact, mortgage debts, outstanding mortgages, actually decreased for a short period of time right after the recession in 2008, for a period of time. And then once we started to recover from that, mortgage originations continued to rise. As a matter of fact, they rised continually. And as of 2022, we actually have 19 trillion in 2022. But between 2020 and 2021, we only gained just a little over $1 trillion. Definitely not 40%. So that's fake news. His next point, insurance.
Every single time they open their mailbox, they're hoping it's nothing from an insurance provider. They're hoping it's nothing from a local tax adjuster. Because State Farm, for example, in California, they're increasing an average of 20%. An average. It's really a crisis. Florida state leaders unpack rising homeowner insurance costs. Floods will add to UK housing insurance bills. New bills in Florida, right?
Okay, point number 3, he's hammering insurance. And well, insurance is on the rise, particularly here in Florida. It's through the roof. So really, is this happening nationwide? Can we paint every state with the same brush?
Well, the largest increases in property insurance rates occur in areas with higher population density, natural disasters, and of course, high crime rates. New Orleans, Louisiana is notorious for having some of the highest property insurance premiums in the United States due to its hurricane-prone climate and flooding incidents.
Other cities like San Francisco, California, and Miami, Florida are also experiencing high insurance rate increases. However, homeowner insurance rates have increased on average 2.8% so far in 2023 across all 50 states, including the District of Columbia. So homeowner insurance is on the rise, but not every state is experiencing double-digit increases. States that are Florida, North Carolina, Oklahoma, and Arizona. So he's partially right, so I'll give him that, but you can't paint every state with the same brush. Let's move on to taxes.
But when you look at what's going on with taxes, it's all at the same exact time. Fasten your seatbelt. Your individual property tax bill is ready. Maryland property values up 23%, largest jump in a decade. Colorado taxes explained. Will that 40% value jump really mean 40% higher taxes? Scott Township approves 54% property tax hike. Like, it's absolutely insane. They're choking out these property owners.
First of all, you can't make assumptions based upon the titles on the screen. That's what he's doing. You actually have to read those articles, which is painful. You can thank me later. So let's take this one, the one where he's touting 40% property value increases, making the assumption that your taxes could possibly go up 40%. I mean, really, are they gonna go up 40%? Well, as it seems, Colorado also has caps on property insurance, especially for those homes that are homesteaded. We also have that here in Florida. About 28 of their counties have a cap of a maximum of 5.5% that your property taxes can increase.
According to the research by the National Association of Realtors, property taxes have increased on average by 2.7% from 2021 to 2023.
However, it's important to note that property taxes are determined by the state and local level, and they vary widely. Every state is different. Florida, California, Texas, all have property tax caps, but that's not the case for every state. And most homeowners will receive a pretty good discount if they homestead the property. Moving on, this next point was that 60% of all homes are owned by people that are 55 or older. And I'm not sure if that's really true, but let's just assume that it is.
Look at how home inventory in America is held. This is home ownership among age groups. Roughly 60% of all homes in America are owned by people 50 and older. 60% of homes. Like, this is not a small amount of properties, right? 60% of all of these properties are owned by, a lot of people that are entering retirement. The big question is, people entering retirement, do they have the financial wherewithal to be able to cruise through this entire situation and be able to offset all these costs, or are they gonna be forced to sell, right? That's what I think is gonna happen. I think we're gonna see a lot of people selling.
Okay, sure, inflation affects everybody, including retired people. Your taxes go up and your property insurance goes up. But will retired people actually just pick up and sell? Well, I don't think so. What he fails to mention is that most people who are retired no longer have a mortgage. These older people, they've lived in their house 25, 30 years. They paid off their mortgage, so their expenses are lower than, well, most of us. Now, there will be some, depending on where they live in the country, who will decide to make a change. But is there really going to be a mass exodus of retired people leaving their homes because their property taxes went up and their insurance went up? And that's because it'll cost them more if they move. taxes will be higher. Maybe your property insurance would be lower if you bought a newer home. Costs money to move. You're going to pay more and get less. They would pay 2 or 3 times the amount per square foot for a much smaller home. I think the opposite will happen. People will hunker down. With the economy as it is and rising inflation, it can cause people to pull back, spend less, and stay put. And I'm going to be doing a video next week on that very subject and how it will affect the housing market. So you want to make sure to subscribe. So if you've enjoyed this video, found some value in it, make sure to give it a thumbs up. It does help my channel a great deal. My name is Lisa, and I make videos on current events, real estate, and life uncensored. And I would love to have you join me along the way. So make sure to subscribe. Take care.